Maybe we're going to see the lion part tonight, but we hope for no severe weather like we had a week ago. But we give you thanks. It's spring. It is finally spring, and we celebrate that with this change in the weather and the chance of storms. We give you thanks for this club, for its work in our community. We give you thanks for all of these students come here to share with us their understanding of the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do, and look forward to hearing their vision on that. We ask your Spirit to be upon us, to bless our work as a club, to bless this food, to take it to the nourishment of our bodies, and to keep us this day in your peace. In the name of Christ we pray. Amen. Amen.
Friends, I will invite you to be seated at this time. I'm going to quickly introduce a couple of guests that we have. We are going to do the pledge, but we're going to do it in between students while the judges are doing their judging, so that we have built-in breaks. So yes, we will do the Pledge of Allegiance, but we'll do that after our first speaker. So today's meeting will be a little different, and I apologize for that. But today we have our regular guest, Aaron Alsup. Welcome back. We're glad to have you again. And we have a new guest today, Gail Wilson. Gail, do you want to stand up and tell us something about yourself?
Thank you so much for letting me join this organization. I just moved back here from Washington, D.C. I'm from Irving, but I've been in D.C. for 8 years. I'm an engagement officer for American Policy too. So that's what we do political word and legislation. So I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, Gail. Welcome back to Irving. Friends, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Terry Oliver now that she's done chewing almost. And she is our Vocational Services and Program Director. And she will be telling you a little bit about our four-way test and introduce or calling on our first speaker.
Today, welcome. So today we have our four-way test speech contest. We have 3 representatives from 3 out of the 4 high schools here in town. I'm going to be introducing these speakers by number, so they luckily drew numbers just a second ago. They will come up and make their presentation. The judges will score the presentation, and then the speaker will be able to introduce himself because they're all young men and the adults that are here with them. So without further ado, please welcome speaker number 1. Woo!
Of all the things we think, say, or do, we must ask ourselves the following questions. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all? I strongly believe that by implementing extracurricular driver's education programs at juniors and seniors in high schools, you would meet and excel higher than the expectations of the aforementioned criteria. Is it the truth? It is true that some of the drivers we share the roads with can be classified as reckless and flat out scary. Yes. Like everyone else, I drove here today, and even if you didn't drive, I'm sure it's true you interacted with someone to get here, whether by carpooling or even walking on the sidewalk next to a road. The reason as to why this is important is because in our grand network of roads, we are all expected to interact with one another in a civil order. It is what makes our roads so civil. That is the question at hand. While there are quite a few answers to that question, I believe there is truth in saying that a great deal of the problem stems from unlicensed and uneducated drivers. Every day when school ends, I watch as students make such scary decisions just to get to a place a few seconds earlier than they would have normally do. For example, the main scary decision in question is when students speed into the oncoming lane of traffic to skip the line of people trying to leave our school's parking lot. It makes me wonder where in their driver's education that they weren't informed of being patient, courteous, or considerate to all other drivers around. If these drivers are acting this way, where in their education did they miss such an important part? Would they have done that in the presence of a police officer? There's also truth in saying that the repercussions of poor driving are heavy, and especially so for repeated offenses. Some of which include, but are not limited to, a repeatable fine from $25 to $200, 3 days to 6 months of jail time, all the way to being denied a license as a whole. With these consequences in mind, they could create a snowball effect leading to further offenses and no license for a greater period of time. If I put myself in the shoes of a parent or some of the people in this audience, I wouldn't be thrilled knowing that my kid or kids were racking up fines, knowing that they could be denied their license due to poor choices. More importantly, I think I'd be mortified knowing that because of these consequences, they had to put their very own well-being at risk out in our community's roads. Is it fair to all concerned? As a lot of my and other students' schoolwork is being moved online, I believe that the superintendent of schools, our very own Ms. Magda Hernandez, for example, could broker a deal with online driver's education courses. For example, I spent $90 on ACEBL's 14 to 17-year-old driver's course in my own time. But with my own schoolwork and personal time preoccupying me, regrettably, it took me way longer than I should have to even get my learner's license. By collaborating with online driver's education courses, our school could have a classroom where we supply this course to students for free. All said students can either at their own pace or along with their teacher progress through the course while being tested. In a study by Yale University, it's been proven that students make significant learning gains in social classroom environments. So that makes this more than fair for our students as they're actually learning and absorbing information about driving safely and fairly in our vast network of roads, all from the comfort of their very own classroom. This is fair to students as parents, as students will no longer have to ask, can you drive me to school? Or can you drive me to the movies? And let me tell you, the first time I drove myself to the movies was the most gratifying experience. Of course, some parents may be concerned knowing their kids are driving out and about in that big world, but by allowing them to enroll in this course, they'll become educated as to how the roads really work, and that they'll be that much safer than going in without such important knowledge. This is fair to teachers because by implementing this course, the school allots more job opportunities for aspiring teachers. And these teachers are given the opportunity to connect with their students like Jack Black in School of Rock or Matthew Perry in Ron Clark's story. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Naturally, by creating this classroom that may not necessarily feel like class, there will be an influx of goodwill and better friendships. As a student, sometimes I hear my peers say, why do we even need insert subject here, which is normally a math class? But by giving the space to students who are ready to graduate and who are ready to tackle the responsibilities that come with driving and just growing up in general, we give students a better appreciation for practical education. By taking this class, students are given the opportunity to mature and mature together, especially because now, by granting this class, we give them common ground, something typically harder to grasp and appreciated by me, a more introverted student. So, in theory, had I been given the opportunity to take this class, I believe that it would teach me more about real life along with driving. Meaning I have more material knowledge when it comes to being even more respectful towards others, maybe even gaining a new friend or best friend through learning to be a better person and a good, safe, and licensed driver. Will it be beneficial to all? I believe that by implementing this course, it will prove to be nothing short of beneficial to our students and their parents, our teachers, and drivers out in our communities. Creating this space will be beneficial for students as they will become capable of governing themselves out in society, as well as acting in accordance with others on the road. Their parents may rest assured that with proper education such as ACEBL's online class and proper enforcement by that of a good and friendly teacher, students will feel invigorated to learn about what it means to be granted the privilege of driving and what that entails as they grow into the person they're meant to become. Although it benefits our students mostly, their learning will reflect positively on society around them. As of 2020, the CDC stated that drivers aged 16 through 19 have a total crash rate almost 3 times as high than drivers aged 20 or higher. By providing our youth with good education, we can begin a trend that will slowly but surely mitigate the percentage of wrecks all around. Now, weigh out the pros this class would provide and the cons that would come with not allowing our students this chance to grow. Would they be better off not learning such an essential life skill, even if the choice was provided to them? What would be best for your child or our young adults? Thank you for this opportunity, and hopefully we can evoke change and growth together.
Thank you so much, speaker number 1. Let's give him another round of applause. Now we're on to speaker number 2.
The judges need a moment.
Oh, that's right. Well, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Okay, we're gonna do.
Yes, at this time, if you will please stand so we can have our pledge of allegiance. Lieutenant Cody Johns of the Salvation Army is our sergeant at arms. Lieutenant Cody, will you please lead us in the pledge?
We have to. Please place your hand over your heart and repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Y'all may be seated. Friends, here at Rotary, one of the purposes of our club and our main focus is community service. In fact, our motto is service above self. So we aspire to be active participants in the efforts here in this community, in the surrounding Irving area, to better the world around us. So since we have so many visitors and guests, we want to remind you that that's why we're here. We meet every Thursday here at the Country Club. And usually we have one program speaker, but today we have the gift of having multiple speakers come before us. So it is our joy to be hosting you today, and we hope to support you as you continue to do public speaking throughout your lives. It's a very important skill to have. You might find yourself as president of Rotary and having to speak in front of people on a regular basis, or leading a church and having to speak in front of people. But it is a very valuable and important skill that not everyone is comfortable doing. So we're thankful you're here and sharing this. In between our speakers, we will have opportunities for announcements. So after speaker number 2, we will have some announcements this day. Judges, do you need me to soft shoe a little more, or are you about ready? Good. All right. Terry, if you will, let's just call on speaker number 2. Let's welcome one.
Let me be outright. I lied my way into this position. I don't intend on telling the truth. As a matter of fact, I have lied throughout my whole high school career, even further back through middle school and elementary. I'm a liar through and through. But that's what it means to be a storyteller, isn't it? That's how this speech was supposed to start. That's what this speech was supposed to be about. But the more I did research on the different forms of storytelling and really went over that opening line, it was like staring into the void. Sure, I can tell you a story about how I lied to tell stories in order to benefit the lives of other people. But is that really the only story I have to tell? And then the void stared back. Legacy. What is a legacy? It's planting seeds in a garden you'll never get to see. This is a quote from Lin-Manuel Miranda's musical Hamilton,
in the song "The World Is Wide Enough." In the scene, Aaron Burr, the historical figure, has just shot Alexander Hamilton. This quote is when Alexander Hamilton is giving a monologue in which he is talking about the depressing childhood he had as an orphan and is now happy about his new life that he has in the present, talking about past friends and past mentors. But that's not all. The line right before it, he asks, "What if this bullet is my legacy?" He asks himself that, but he also asks you, the audience, if the bullet that Aaron Burr shot him with and the bullet that will strike him down will be the same bullet that history books will remember him with, instead of everything that he did to build up that nation. And tell me, can you truly tell me, if not for the Hamilton musical, could you really tell me the story of Hamilton, our founding father? It's unfair. Really, it's unfair. The innate desire to create a legacy is unfair. Think about it. If not for the Hamilton musical, our founding father on the $10 bill was to be removed and replaced with an empowering female figure. And while that isn't wrong, it isn't fair to Hamilton's legacy. Currently, in 2021, that is to be replaced on the $20 bill with Andrew Jackson with most likely Harriet Tubman. That is great. But in 2016, it was going to be Alexander Hamilton. Now, after the surge of popularity Hamilton got, after the Hamilton Broadway hit, teaching new and old generations alike about his history, it secured his legacy. But after 50 years from now, what will happen? He was only known as the Secretary of Treasury and the Founding Father. And while, sure, those are great big titles, really, those are only great big titles that historians care about. So what about me? What about you, the common man? This innate desire to create a legacy is unfair because we will be forgotten. So what about this? Let me give you an example that I was told way back in 2019 by my brother, who worked for a 5-star restaurant. He told me that the culinary world eats at you like poison. You step on other people's toes and you stab other people in the back, only to get to the top and realize you're there by yourself. Now, this example could be given to so many different industries. That's how vague I made it. But that's how personal it is too. Business, culinary, anything you want it to be. But why not make it better? It doesn't just have to be about yourself. You can make it about other people too. You can make it fair to everybody around you. Why not create a support system of people you honestly trust, your friends and people who you have connected with? Build them up as well. Why not create a name for them too? Create a legacy for everybody around you as well. In the past, around 2,000 years ago, there was a man who was known as the greatest Samaritan. You don't have to be religious to know who I'm about to talk about. Jesus Christ, or the Messiah. He came to earth and preached the good word on behalf of God, his Father. Years later, he is known as a man who preached the word in good faith. He went around and traveled, learned what it was like to be human, what it was like to feel pain, so that he could teach humans what it was like to teach other humans. He taught us what it was. He taught us how not to discriminate against others. And he taught us to build good faith. That is a man who built his own legacy on the basis of being fair to everybody. So now what about this? You give a kid a dime on the street. He will remember that you gave him a dime for as long as he can. He doesn't know why, but he will. And eventually he'll grow up. And one day, he'll pass on that dime. That is what a legacy should be. That dime has become your legacy. The passing of that dime. That's fair. Passing that dime, giving to others. It benefits him. It's spreading goodwill. That's what that dime should represent. Thank you.
All right. Let's give our second speaker another round of applause. Very good. All right, at this time, Kathy, did I say you had an announcement for us?
Thanks to Irving Cares again for the 2 trucks. Woo, I'm so excited. Found out those trucks have room for 5 people comfortably, 6 uncomfortably. And we now need people to ride in those trucks to deliver the flags. And so remember that we pay for these people to do this. And so we're looking for, and I think Rotaract. Yeah,
Interact.
oh, high school kids, or band people, or who else? Groups.
Church groups, scouts,
Baseball groups, I don't care.
teams, yeah, it doesn't matter.
They want to earn some money. Please get in touch with me, and then I'll get in touch with Rosa, who kind of coordinates all that. But we do, thank goodness for the trucks, because evidently that was a big issue, that we didn't have the trucks. And so now we got the trucks, and now we need people. So if you know of any kids or anything that want to make some money and would be responsible, because we're going to deliver these flags 5 times, and we're going to pick them up 5 times. And we have certain days that cover those holidays that we need to cover. And you should feel fortunate that I'm not Rick Lindsay.
Well, we are going to hear from Rick a little later. Dr. Parra.
Are there specific routes for these
Yes,
trucks? What are
one of them is the lakes.
Okay.
The lakes has over 200 flags.
Right.
And the others are, we're not sure yet, but we will have routes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's right.
And are we here people have to drive the trucks? That's right.
So we have drivers. What we need are some people that are willing to go put these flags out and pick them up. We'll give you the routes, and then you take care of getting those flags out before the holiday, and after the holiday, we put them all back up. We offer this to the scout troops and youth groups at churches and booster clubs, including the debate club, if they would like to do it. Just a subtle thing out there. It's a way to earn money, you know, depending on how big your route is, you know, it may take a couple hours. It's always longer the first time as you're getting to know the route. But once you've done it a time or two, it goes pretty quick. It's easy, you run, you put out the flags, you pick them back up, you let us know if there are any problems. So if that's something that you know of a group, or some individuals can do it, we can pay individuals too. You just need to know they're going to be available for the times we need them. So I'll put that out to you. We're going to hear more about flags after our next speaker. So Rick Lindsay, you're on board after speaker number 3. You're gonna give us a flag update, right? So friends, let us get ready to, judges, are we ready to move forward? All right, we need to move on before we get more embarrassing back there. So we want to welcome speaker number 3 to the podium.
Good afternoon. I'm the third child who's going to talk about problems with the world. In the United States, approximately 6.3.
Their microphone, so that we can, yeah, they're good, great.
Thank you.
In the United States, approximately 6.3 million pets enter shelters every year. Of these, 1.5 million animals are euthanized due to overcrowding and lack of resources. However, there is one key thing for me to mention, and that is the fact that of all the states, Texas reigns supreme on the list of animal cruelty. According to the Texas Department of State Health Services, there are over 20,000 reports of animal cruelty in Texas in 2020 alone. These reports include cases of neglect, abandonment, and physical abuse of animals. Sadly, this is just the tip of the iceberg, as many cases of animal abuse and neglect go unreported. To make things worse, as cited by the Animal Legal Defense Fund, ranked Texas as one of the worst states in the US for animal protection laws. These statistics are disturbing because for many of us, pets are more than just animals that live in our homes. They are beloved family members, and their well-being is just as important as our own. However, are we doing enough to help our furry friends? I want to advocate for the importance of animal rescue, adoption, and care. Today, I'll be using 4-way tests to hopefully convince you of the importance of the issue at hand. The need for us to lend a helping hand, or is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and friendships? And will it be beneficial to all? However, I'll be addressing these questions in reverse order. So first, will it be beneficial to all? Adopting a pet can bring many benefits to both the animal and the family adopting. For the animal, it means having a loving, caring home, a safe environment, and access to essential resources like food and veterinary care. For the family, adopting a pet can provide many benefits such as companionship, a sense of responsibility, the opportunity to give back to the community. Ensuring that pets receive proper care and attention benefits not only animals themselves, but also the broader community. Healthy and happy pets are less likely to cause illnesses or be abandoned. Supporting animal shelters and rescue organizations can help reduce the number of stray animals, leading to safer, cleaner, and more peaceful neighborhoods. For some people, pets are crucial for daily life. For example, therapy pets have been shown to be effective in helping people with a wide range of conditions, from autism to PTSD to dementia and depression. Service animals, such as guide dogs for visually impaired, can also make a tremendous difference in the lives of their owners by helping them navigate the world with greater confidence and independence. Next, will having a pet or service animal build goodwill and better friendships? Either you or someone you know is most likely to be a pet owner, so you may already know the answer to this question. There's a unique relationship between humans and pets. It can't be found anywhere else. It's often incredibly strong, with pets being seen as family members rather than just mere possessions. Many pet owners feel a sense of joy, comfort, and fulfillment, as well as a sense of security in the presence of their pets, who are often seen as non-judgmental and accepting of their human companions. Caring for a pet can also help teach many important life skills, such as patience, empathy, responsibility. It requires a significant amount of time and effort, which can be particularly valuable for children and young adults who are still developing these skills. Feeding, grooming, and exercising with a pet all require planning and management, which can help children develop these skills in a fun and engaging way. It can also help them learn to be sensitive to someone's needs, feelings, and emotions, which will result more in caring and understanding relationships with others. So now, is it fair to all concerns? This is a question we need to ask ourselves as humans who dominate this planet. We build towns and cities, claim entire continents as our own. But then, where can the millions of animals go? The rapid expansion of human population and urbanization has led to the destruction of many natural habitats, which has displaced both wild and domesticated animals. They don't really have anywhere to go, and they can't really support themselves. We create animal presence, either by mismanagement or neglect. But then we have every advantage for someone to provide them. I don't think that's very fair. It's important that we recognize the role in creating this problem and take steps to address it. We must allocate resources to help animals in need and promote responsible pet ownership practices. It doesn't have to be something like adopting $10 million for the shelter. Helping to control the pet population by spraying and neutering your pet, supporting local shelters. These are simple and easy ways that you can help out. Is looking after the homeless, the helpless. Only then is it there. So what is the truth? The truth is that pet overpopulation, neglect, and abuse are significant problems in many communities. Shelter and rescue organizations are often overburdened with too many animals left without homes or even basic care. Our furry friends need more from us. It's clear that we need to do more to protect them. Give them the attention and care that they deserve. By adopting pets from shelters and rescues, supporting animal welfare organizations, reporting cases of animal abuse and neglect, we can make a difference in the lives of these innocent animals. If even if you don't own pets or plan on adopting, you can still do the right thing by spreading awareness. In the words of former Price is Right host, this is Bob Barker reminding you to help control the pet population, have your pets spayed and neutered. Thank you for your time and dedication.
Excellent. It is a nerve-wracking thing to give a speech in front of people, especially people you don't know. So we are so proud of all of you. Let's hear it one more time for speaker number 3. This year, thankfully, I'm not judging, so I'm thrilled because I think you all did an excellent job, and I'd hate to have to pick who the winner is. And I am proud of each of you for the work that you have put into this. One of the wonderful things that our flag program affords us is that raises the money so that we can give scholarships like this one and the ones that we give through the Irving School Foundation. So by doing the flag program and getting businesses and individuals to have a flag out during the holidays, that helps us fund the scholarships and some of the community work that we do in Irving. So without further ado, while the judges finish their tabulations, I'm going to invite Rick Lindsay, who is our flag boss, to give us an update about our flags. You're welcome, boss.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, friends, students, Rotarians, lend me your ear. I think we have 14 minutes left. I'll try to be brief. Always appreciate the acknowledgement by one of the most important people in the flag program. That is Miss Kathy Howard. She is the core to make this thing work. So Irving cares. Terry, thank you for the trucks. We'll work out that detail. Students, I want you to understand that in the last week, Kathy Howard and I used the 4-way test. We used the 4-way test. We, the Rotary Club, decided to go up from $50 to $60. We decided to take the common from 30 to 40. As we evaluated the amount of money that we're paying the different groups to distribute, we had to ask ourselves, what is the right thing to do? is it the truth that they are being compensated fairly? So we had to answer that question. We were paying $2.80 for the pickup, or for the placement and the pickup, each flag, each holiday. That's $14 per flag per season, right? So we had to look at that and say, okay, we just took a 20% increase. That's the truth. What can we do to be fair to the teams that are working for us? And what would be beneficial to them, and is it beneficial to the whole operation? So Kathy and I had quite a bit of discussion, talked some with Bob, talked to President Shane. What we did is we took and we are going to increase the amount of money we pay the delivery teams and make that more consistent. So we're paying, I think, a 20% increase to them for both the common and the other flags, the home flags. So Millennium Fountain is placed by the Rotarians, so that all that doesn't cost us any money. So the four-way test came in handy for us making decisions about should we give them a raise or not give them a raise. The answer is yes. So it works when we apply it in our normal life. Just to finish up here, Mr. President, I checked this before I came. Currently, we're at $53,830. Give yourself a round of applause. Which goes straight to scholarships that people are just donating. We're at $2,050.
Excellent.
Excellent. We are at 128 common area flags. We've got more to go. I know Cody, you and I've got to work on some. We've got some major groups. We got 28 going over at Gran Travisio. So we're going to see the numbers. Anybody want to guess the number of total flags that we have paid for currently? 970. Our target's about 1,600. Yes, we've got some ways to go. We've sent out 3 emails. I sent out the third one the other day. I'm kind of using some of George Cohan's words in his songs. It's a grand old flag. And so I think that may be helping us get attention. If you haven't gone out and paid for your Millennium flag, please go out and do so. It just kind of helps me understand that it's working. So good news, Mr. President. We got a great team with Bill and Bob and Kathy. Rosa Gordon handles the distribution. Her husband Gordon is ill. I would ask everyone here to keep Rosa and Gordon in your prayers because she is the lady that coordinates 16 teams and 1,600 flag distribution and pickup. That concludes my comments. I know I bled over some, but you're up to date on flags.
Thank you, Rick. You gave our judges plenty of time to finish their tabulations. But that was a wonderful discussion about our flag program, broken up during the various breaks. So this time, who's going to come up and talk about our contest? Oh, they're still back there. Ryan, did you have something?
Yeah, just one comment. So I'm sure we've already said this. I just want to thank teachers who are here supporting their students. We couldn't do any of this stuff without what our teachers do on a daily basis. And so my hope, all our hope, is that seeing these young adults stand up and do these presentations excellently in front of a bunch of strangers is just a small token of gratitude for you. So I just want to thank these teachers for.
Yes. With the students and work with us to help identify those that could be potential contestants, because we can't do that without your boots on the ground. So thank you very much. We love partnering with you because at the end of the day, it's all for the students, and we want to see them succeed and have the best chance as they continue forward in their careers and their lives. So we look forward to continuing to partner with all of you. The four-way speech contest is one of my favorite Rotary meetings every single year. So it's always great to hear from the students. I know that with each of the students, there was something in your speech that resonated with me, that connected with me. So I appreciate you doing that. It means you put a lot of work into your speeches, both writing and delivery. So thank you for your hard work and being here today. And it looks like they're making some final decisions back there. Do we have any other announcements for the good of the club? Laura.
Today is National Puppy Day.
Yay!
Cuteness overload, log on to k9.org/puppy. It's a live cam. One just woke up from that. Until 11 o'clock tonight.
Oh, that's great.
K9.org. K9 is spelled out.
K9.org. Yes, Rick.
I would like to acknowledge an email I received from Rotary International that said Tuesday was World Water Day. I would like to acknowledge the efforts Robert also does, and this club does, in drilling the water well in Mexico. To my knowledge, we're committed to do that this year.
Correct.
What, Robert, the third or fourth well we drilled, fourth. So congratulations, Rotary, for supporting the Rotary International World Water Day.
Excellent. Let's do that. Terry making her way forward. I'm excited.
I'm excited. Great job, speakers. So can we get the three speakers up here? Speaker number 1, speaker number 2, speaker number 3. And if you would, gentlemen, please introduce yourselves, your school, and your school staff who's come to support you.
Hi, I was speaker number 1. My name is D. Davidson, and I'm a student from McArthur High School. I came with my very cool English teacher, Miss Danielle Phelan. Her class is super fun. I wrote a 2,700 word essay over Harry Potter. Who would have guessed? But one place I see myself next year is hopefully at a university teaching about, or not teaching, but learning about nursing. I'd really like to help people. It was almost my topic for today, why we should reintroduce humanity back into the healthcare field. But that's for another day. But thank you so much for hearing and listening to my speech, and I hope you all have a good day.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Gabriel Ortega. I'm here with my academic decathlon coach, Deanna Dart. I'm a culinary student. I'm a senior. I'm getting a theater honorific for doing theater for 4 years now. In a year, I do see myself pursuing the fine arts and the liberal arts. I do not know where, in which area I will pursue it in, but I do want to double major in any of the liberal arts areas. I do, yeah, sorry, I do go to Singley Academy.
Hi, my name is Kevin Tran. I came here with my academic teacher, our coach, Mr. Irving. These are my counselors, Mrs. Strada and Ms. Mitchell. This is my principal, Mr. Hernandez. I'm an acting student. That's just my life. I don't go outside. We don't go outside. And I'll be at UT Arlington next year studying computer engineering. Thank you. Where are you guys go?
Okay, moment of truth, drum roll. Okay, we're gonna start with third place, which you found all did an awesome job. Thank you so much for being with us today. Our third place winner is our speaker number 2, Gabriel Ortega. So, third place winner will receive a check for $100. Second place is speaker number 3, Kevin Chan. Receive a check for $200. And so that leaves us with our first place, our first speaker. Here we go. Oh my goodness, Dean Davis. So let's get these done. To say this to you gentlemen, but your check will be in the mail. So thank you so much for joining us. Let's get a few pictures and stuff, so don't run away. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have anyone designated to take a picture?
Dr. Cora just took a picture. I don't know if any of you.
Yes.
I'll take pictures.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, anyone that wants to, we'll take a picture quickly. We're close to it.
Okay, gentlemen, 1, 2, 3.
Say 4-way test.
4-way test. So, am I correct that our winner also has an opportunity to go on to speak at the district contests? Val, is that correct? Will our winner get to compete at the district contest as well? Awesome, so that's the other piece. Not only do they get the scholarship from us, but our first place winner will go on to compete at the district level. And that will be a chance for more scholarship money. So that's always a fun thing. You'll have people that did the 4-way test for various clubs around the Metroplex. So it'll be an exciting competition. So let's continue to support them as they continue on. Friends, we are out of time for today. We had a wonderful meeting, so I'm going to invite you to stand. And we're gonna do the 4-way test that we heard so much about today. And I'm gonna invite past President Patty Caperton, who stepped in for me last week, and she is my shero. She's gonna lead us today in our 4-way test.
Please join me in reciting the 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First,
Is it the truth?
second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned? God bless you all. Have a wonderful afternoon.